Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. It is Tuesday, August 15th. We thank you for being in attendance as well as watching on TV. Let's start by introducing you to your City Council.
Councilmember Selberg.
Present.
Starr.
Here.
Staley.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Erpenbach.
Here.
Kiley.
Here.
Neitzert.
Here.
Rolfing.
Here.
Councilors, thank you very much. We've got Pastor Randy Gehring, who's back to lead us in our invocation. Pastor Randy, thank you for being here. He is from Our Savior's Lutheran Church here in Sioux Falls. We'd please ask that you stand for the pastor's invocation, and then please remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor?
Thank you. I'm here tonight at this council's invitation to provide the invocation, to invoke the name of God at the beginning of this council's meeting. And the God upon whom I call tonight is described in the Christian Bible as love. 1 John 4 tells us that God is love and that there is no fear in love. Fear and hatred are getting a lot of airtime these days. But I stand before you, dear council members, to proclaim that God is love, so that you may know in all your human vulnerabilities, you are held in the arms of the one who is the Lord of all creation. So that you may trust, as you stand on the threshold of an unknowable future, in the one who holds the future. So that you may cling to the gift of mercy when your human brokenness gets the better of you. Indeed, my prayer for you this night is that you engage in the work before you so that you might sense the depth and power of God's love for you and for all, to the extent that it would shape your decisions and guide your leading. So let's pray. God of love, pour out upon these, your servants, the gifts of wisdom, patience, integrity, and compassion. Guide them in the work you have given them, and assure them of your boundless love for them and for all people. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There's something wrong with my chair. It keeps making noise.
Pastor Randy, thank you very much. Certainly appreciate that. Council, our consent agenda tonight, any motions or changes, anything?
Move to approve.
Second, Erpenbach.
Council Chair Kiley has made a motion to approve our consent agenda, seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. If there's no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selberg.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Kiley.
Yes.
Neitzert.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Our regular agenda tonight, Council, anything that you'd want to change or add?
Move to approve, Neitzert. Second, Selberg.
Councilor Neitzert's made a motion to approve our agenda for tonight. Thank you. Also seconded by Councilor Selberg. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selberg.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Kiley.
Yes.
Neitzert.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Councilors, thank you. That is also passed 8-0. Welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. It's a great opportunity for you to engage the council on really any topic that's of interest to you. Just a couple things. We'd ask you to just state your name for the people that are here as well as for the people that are watching at home. Please keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. We'd appreciate that. And then just try to be as respectful and professional as you can. We'd certainly also appreciate that. But folks, anybody want to engage the council? Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Thor Barden. I am a homeowner, taxpayer, local business employee, and proud resident of Sioux Falls. I wanted to take this opportunity to address the council and thank each of you for the hard work that you do while performing your elected civil duties. I thank you for the time and dedication that it takes to listen and operate in your position based on the expressed needs of us as residents of this growing city. I sincerely appreciate the many decisions that you have had to make on behalf of the residents of Sioux Falls. I appreciate the time you have invested to make sure that these decisions were made while considering all available information and the potential impact each decision carries. As we continue to grow, we're going to run into problems that we've not yet experienced as a community. And as this council has in the past, I encourage you to continue to be representative and a voice of the several thousand individuals you represent. As a resident and one of those voices, I encourage you to continue to work towards making decisions that allow people to have access to affordable housing, especially as the residents of Sioux Falls have worked hard to support themselves. I encourage you to continue towards a diverse and inclusive civil service sector that is representative of the population of Sioux Falls, especially when it comes to matters that can lower crime rates and increase quality of life in our city. I encourage all of you to continue to focus on maintaining our infrastructure so that way we can continue to be one of the best suppliers of service with regards to roads, sewer, water, public space, and public buildings. Finally, I encourage you and thank you for continuing to support your community by being responsive to the many calls, emails, and letters that you receive, as each person deserves your response as a representative. The job of a city council member is not an easy job, as you represent a diverse community with a lot of differences. It cannot be done by someone who's afraid to act on behalf of the people they represent, and I applaud and sincerely thank you for the commitment required to act as city council. God bless.
Mr. Martin, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Folks, anybody else want to engage the council? Welcome.
Greetings. My name is David Zokaitis, and I want the world to know what's going on politically and economically, so I keep coming back with these great presentations. Today we're on drug prohibition. This is part 2 of a 3-part miniseries. All right. Too much for one day, so broke it up a little bit. All right. Now, if you look at a problem, you need to scale it with other problems just to know how big it really is in essence. So I looked at the causes of death in 2014, and if it's ranked there, and if you look, illegal drugs is a very small part of the number of people that died in 2014. Less than 1% of deaths in the USA are attributed to illegal drugs. Very, very small number. You can see I found my source there. It's all cited in case anybody wants to check my references. Now, if we compare these causes of deaths, you will find that heart disease is the major killer, kind of a tongue-in-cheek there. 40 times bigger problem than illegal drugs. 40 times bigger. Huge factor. Tobacco, 23 times bigger. And you go down the list a little bit, legal drugs is about 1.5 times the problem as illegal drugs. And then, this is a real interesting statistic, 0 deaths attributed to cannabis overdose. That's a very small number, 0. So let's look at the harmful effects of these various chemicals. And according to this nice study in the UK, alcohol is the worst. When harm to self and others summed, alcohol was the most harmful of all drugs. Well, if alcohol is a bigger problem than cannabis, we should shift to cannabis. Or even better would be to get people to relax and enjoy life a little bit more and not use any of this stuff. Now, if you want to look at alcohol and cannabis, it's good to look at the effect on teenagers. They're a little bit more vulnerable. Their bodies are still growing. And I found a reference here and just checking it out. And this particular pediatrician says that cannabis is probably a little bit safer. Again, there's my reference. If I'm not right, let me know, and I'll change what I tell everybody. If it's safer, I mean, what's the point? So if you're looking at drug prohibition, it's nice to know where the heck it came from and what the real point is. So I found some propaganda circa 1920 and there were a lot of Mexican immigrants coming in, smoking marijuana. Of course, that made them and the marijuana unpopular. There was some competition with different sources for paper. People don't like that if they're established. Pharmaceuticals don't like the competition. So it looks like there's some corporate greed that might be in the works here. Well, and here's a real major demagogue, an important political figure for 30 years in federal drug prohibition, Harry J. Anslinger. Let's call him a demagogue because that is exactly what he was. And here's one of his quotes. Marijuana being a shortcut to the insane asylum, making a murderer who kills for the love of killing out of the mildest mannered man. Complete hogwash, propaganda, lies. Here's another one, all about racism. Talks about Negroes being a source of satanic music, and if you smoke weed, you're going to want to have sex with black guys. That's his quote. Now, John Ehrlichman, Nixon's policies chief, was no better. If you read that quote in the middle there, you can tell that he's making up lies about marijuana and heroin and using those lies to disrupt those communities and jail leaders. Nasty, nasty man. So the real motives for the war on drugs seem to be all about power politics, racism, hate, fear, nothing about public safety whatsoever. It just was never part of the picture, and it's still not the current motivation for the war on drugs. And here's a whole bunch of related wars if you follow the papers and think about what's really going on in the world. War on drugs, war on crime, war on terror, a couple of wars in Iraq. Always at war, always trying to keep everybody preoccupied and not noticing what's really going on. Well, you know, it's a 3-part miniseries, and this is the end of part 2. And as always, try to enjoy life. There's things out there to work on. And with that, good evening, everybody.
Good evening, David. Thank you. Folks, anybody else? Welcome.
Scott Arisman, Sioux Falls. There was a recent article in the Argus Leader about campaign donations that I found to be a little bit humorous. One of the comments in the article from an elected official was they weren't getting $50,000, so it's okay to get a smaller donation. Well, what wasn't mentioned in the article was nobody can give you $50,000. The cap on donations is $1,000 per individual. That's all they can give you. So they have to kind of account that $1,000 and hope they get your vote with it. I've been on the record before. I don't like TIFs, don't agree with them. I think they should be eliminated. I know the state legislature is looking at a way to control them in this next legislative session. I hope they just wipe them from the face of the earth. I've often said that money should go towards affordable housing to people who want to fix up older homes, want to fix up older apartments, give them a tax rebate, not multimillionaire developers. Well, we had a project that's been sitting for over a decade. We had a promise a decade ago that we were going to do something with this. And it sat there, and it sat there, and it sat there, and it sat there. And now finally we're going to do something with it. They want to build a $44 million project, not for affordable housing, not to benefit the community in any way, but to build regular, expensive loft apartments and retail space. And on top of it all, they want a $4 million tax rebate for it, a TIF. As I said, I don't like TIFs. I think you should get rid of them. But in reality, if, let's say that I'm going to play devil's advocate here and I think TIFs are okay, this is not an appropriate use of a TIF. If they were building a very large, affordable housing complex, rents that people can afford, then I would say it was probably a good idea. They are not doing that. They're going to build the same ugly loft buildings that they built straight south of the place. It's a horrible tax discount. The tax discount will last for 13 years. They will be paying $8,000 a year in property taxes on a $44 million complex for 13 years. The school district just voted for a $50 million opt-out. You know what that is? It's a property tax increase on the rest of us of $50 million. And we are thinking about handing over a TIF of $4 million when the school district doesn't know where they're going to get money? TIFs are a corporate welfare handout. That's all they are. Costco knew this. This is why Costco refused to take their TIF. They were approved for one. They said, we don't want it. We don't agree with it. It takes away from school funding. It takes away from government funding. It takes away from all these things, and it's just a corporate welfare. I hope when this comes for you, I hope you approve the project. I think we need to get something built there, I guess. It's been a decade now, dragging their feet. But since they're going to be digging a hole in the ground and putting parking there, I don't see us having to give them a tax discount to clean up the mess. The company that is developing this does very well. They are not poor people. They could build a $44 million complex without a single dime penny discount from the citizens. And that's the question that should be asked when they come up here. Can you build this project without our tax discount? And if they say no, well then move on, because there was other people who applied for this RFP. So I say if they want to build it, fine, take the TIF out and leave it at that. It's a horrible use of taxpayer money. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Folks, did anybody else want to engage the council? Welcome.
Sierra Broussard, Sioux Falls. I just heard that the police chief and the police department, and you know, I'm not going to be rude on this, but we're coming to a new election here, and we need some city cleanup here. When a chief of police and the police department is going to say that there's no money, or where's the body cameras at? Signs of corruption within the police department. And I don't care what the chief of police says, I've been training law enforcement for years. When a police department does stuff like this, they have something to hide. 2 years. If Chicago can do it with all them precincts and all them chief of polices, and they can do it in 8 months, Sioux Falls can do it. So I'll let it ride until next mayor election, and then house will be cleaned up, and then we can push for these body cameras. I'm just waiting to the day. But Mayor, you should push your chief of police to get these body cameras. First off, it was the storage. Then it was the vendor issue. Have him put it on the cloud. If it's expensive on the cloud, he can put it on a file and put it on his computer. There's many ways of doing it, Mayor. Second off, I went and spoke to Pastor for Oak View neighborhood here. You know, they have some neighbors, some slumlords, and a lot of police calls, and a lot of drugs, and a lot of this, and a lot of that in that neighborhood. So now we got everybody on track now, and they're going to communicate back and forth with the neighborhood association, and they have people that's working with the drug unit on some of these narcotics in these low-income apartments. So I talked to Pastor about the neighborhood, and Pastor was telling me about Oakview Library here. And I wish that all the libraries was like that. The branch manager, James, goes out of his way and feeds those children and does like a home daycare. And I asked him, I said, why do you do this? Why can't they go to after-school clinic at the school? He said, because the school charges people for that. And I said, they charge for after school here? So how can these poor people afford it? So all the poor people that can't afford to go there goes to the Oakview Library, and he is an awesome guy and a very good-hearted guy, and we need more branch managers at libraries like this. He has taken in that whole neighborhood, Mayor, and has taken that money that the city has given and feeds the children and does activities and learning sessions within the library. How great is that? I wish the downtown district branch manager would do the same thing. Now, I've called her and she has not returned my call, but we have sexual fornication going on at the library. I know there's case laws here. That shouldn't be going on there. We got people on the outside hustling for phone numbers, and I've seen 3 prostitutes out there this week. So Mayor, I have tried to reach out to your branch manager and the director. None of them has called me back. I understand that the police is very busy. Yes, I get that. But we have a security guard in there that needs to stop that. So you just drive by and you see for yourself what's going on down there. But we don't need it by a library with kids. There's kids that's involved in this situation here, Mayor. So good positive thing is that Oakview, James, a lot of them, of these branch managers need to be, he needs to be a role model, and they need to see what this library has done, and maybe they can follow suit, because we sure need a lot of libraries like Oakview Library. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Sierra. Folks, did anybody else want to engage the council? Very good. Thank you very much. Item number 11.
Item 11, new 2017 retail wine license for the Stag's Head LLC, the Stag's Head 6205 Old Village Place, CUP not required, pending final inspections per Fire, Health, and Building Services. Item 12, new 2017-18 retail malt beverage license for the Stag's Head LLC, the Stag's Head 6205 Old Village Place, CUP not required, pending final inspections per Fire, Health, and Building Services. Item 13, request to include video lottery terminals with the new 2017-18 retail malt beverage license for the Stag's Head LLC, the Stag's Head 6205 Old Village Place, pending final inspections per Fire, Health, and Building Services. Item 14, new 2017 retail wine license for Envy Nails and Spa LLC, Envy Nail and Spa, 4212 West Empire Place, CUP not required, pending final inspections per Fire, Health, and Building Services. Item 15, new 2017-18 retail malt beverage license for Envy Nail and Spa LLC, Envy Nail and Spa, 4212 West Empire Place, CUP not required, pending final inspections per Fire, Health, and Building Services. Item 16, new 2017 off-sale delivery license for T-Slat Inc., JJ's Wine, Spirits, and Cigars, 4810 South Western Avenue. Item 17, special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for Catering America, Chefs Dominique's Catering, to be operated at Poet, 4615 North Lewis Avenue, for a social on August 22nd, 2017. Item 18, special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for Stockyards Plaza, Inc., to be operated at Stockyards Ag Experience Barn, 301 East Falls Park Drive, for donor appreciation events on August 23rd and 24th, 2017. Item 19, special one-day malt beverage license for The Banquet, to be operated at Cliff Avenue Greenhouse and Garden Center, 2101 East 26th Street, for a fundraiser on October 5th, 2017.
Good evening, Jamie Palmer with licensing. Items 11, 12, and 13 are all for the same location called the Stag's Head. These are new beer and wine licenses. And item 14 and 15 are for a retail wine and malt beverage for Envy Nail Spa. This is a second location for Envy, and this applicant also holds a retail wine license at his other location. Item 16 is the off-sale delivery license. It's a new license type that was authorized by this past legislative session. Items 17 through 19 are all special one-day requests that have met the state law requirements with their notice of hearing on the 1st and their publication on the 5th. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Jamie, thank you very much. Council, any questions, motions? Yes, Councilor Starr.
No problem. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Jamie, take me through. I'm still trying to understand the delivery license of what does it entail and what's the benefit for the consumer as well as the business. So give me an idea of a typical situation of where someone would deliver. I know there's dollar amount requirements and it has to be a large enough order, but what would a typical, give me a scenario that it would be, how it would be used.
Sure. Now, this would just be off the top of my head. If let's just say you were having a big event at your home and didn't want to have to transport 12 cases of beer, you could call them up and say, I want this amount of alcohol, or well, you'd actually have to go there, sorry. You have to go there, order the alcohol, and then can have it delivered. So
I have to go to the retail establishment, pick out the alcohol, and pay for it before I had them deliver it then in sometime in the future. And then there's a dollar amount. Is it the $150 that it would have to be a minimum of a $150 purchase?
it is, yeah. Do you want me to go through the specifications of the state law? But yeah, it is $150. That's the minimum purchase that you have to make in person at the packaged liquor store location. And then when they deliver it, whoever signs for it has to produce identification that they are 21, and the licensee has to hold on to that proof for a year.
I guess, and this is probably going to be as rhetorical as it is looking for an answer, so you just happen to be there. I don't understand how the state legislature expected us to regulate something like this. I understand that they want to offer that license, and that license is available, but I'm not sure that, and maybe this is the least part of the rhetorical part of it, but how do we guarantee that this is being taken care of? We're going to grant this license, but how do we police it?
That's a good question.
You can leave it in the rhetorical category. Thank you.
Move to approve, Erickson.
Second, Tyler.
It's been a motion to approve. It has been seconded. Jamie, did you not want to attempt to try to answer that?
Well, you know,
Basically, what Councilor Starr is saying in seventh grade language is, okay, we can give this out, but how do you then enforce the policies surrounding that license? What is the control mechanism or enforcement mechanism or accountability mechanism that you see?
well, when I first learned about this license, it was on, honestly, June 22nd. I got a phone call from the state that said, new license type coming forward. We've decided that the cities are going to issue it. And then I had to kind of scramble to get all this put into place. Now, since when I read the state law and it was so specific on the parameters, with the license application, I also made a supplemental form that I asked the applicants to sign, and they initial each specification in state law, you know, such as it's got to be $150 minimum, so that they have it, so that I know that they know that they have to meet all those specifications. Now, as far as policing, they are required to keep those records, like I said, for a year. And by signing the application, there's an oath on there that says that at any time, the state, the city, we can request records, we can go into their place of business, check on stuff. So we could ideally go into their business or call them and make an appointment or whatever to check their records to make sure that they are actually following this law. So.
Councilor Starr?
That's good, thank you.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good too. Yeah, good job. Thank you. Sorry to put you on the spot, but good job, Councilor Starr. Council Vice Chair? No, okay. Very good. Councilor Rolfing.
Jamie, and perhaps Chief Burns could offer this or answer this too, is wouldn't a sting be available in this kind of situation, the same as we go out on anything, to make sure that they're dotting all their I's and crossing all their T's as they go through this? I would think that would be an obvious thing that we would do to make sure that they're coming or going along with the regulation as it's printed.
Certainly could check with the detective that I work with on those stings to see if it's something. But, you know, packaged liquor license, they have to have a packaged liquor license to start with. So they already are subject to the random stings that the city does. So, yeah, I mean, it's certainly something I could check into.
Sure.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes, Council Vice Chair.
I know the applicant is here, and maybe the applicant has something to add to it as far as how they intend to police it, make sure things are in order. You know, I know the business owner is a reputable person in our community, and I'm sure that he's got a plan in place to making sure that this is done wisely. So I don't know if he wants to say anything or not. I know I kind of am putting him on the spot. Sorry. You're welcome. I know you're the first one, so you're kind of our poster child of this
Second,
delivery.
actually. I think you had one a couple weeks ago with Chef Dominic. So Tom Slattery. I'm the owner of JJ's Wine, Spirits, and Cigars, and I actually helped to draft the legislation to get this delivery option available to us off-premise package owners because we needed something to, for us, let's put it this way. For me particularly, I can't speak to other retailers. It is an event-driven licensing. So I will have a client who will come into my store and they'll say, I'm having a party for 150 people at my house on X date. I need this, 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 and this. We will put together an order, they'll pay for it, and we will plan a delivery of that particular order and deliver it on the date that they're expecting it. It's over $150, and it's just helping to improve that aspect of our customer service. So as far as policing it, you know, our police force is very efficient on making sure that we're all in compliance with the laws of making sure that people are old enough to buy. You know, I think it would be, for lack of a better phrase, waste of their time to, you know, police us because we're very good as an industry at policing ourselves. If I hear of another retailer that's not doing what they're supposed to do, Jamie knows that she gets a phone call. You know, and you know we're really good about doing that. You know, we like to make sure that everybody's playing by the same set of rules, and this isn't any exception to that. The reason why we did this was because there was a need for this within our community as far as being able to facilitate these types of events and assist customers in putting together these types of events. So that's why we went ahead and got this accomplished. But we will do a very good job as an industry because most of us independent package dealers are small business owners, and we're looking for that which we can do that nobody else can do. So we aren't looking at delivering a half gallon of Windsor to somebody down the street. We're looking at delivering, you know, 5 cases of wine and a couple coolers of beer for a rather large event for somebody who's probably a pretty good customer of ours, and making sure that everything is, you know, in compliance with that. If I can elaborate any more.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom.
No problem.
A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selberg?
Yes.
Starr?
Yes.
Staley?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
Neitzer?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Item 20.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the Code of Ordinances of the city by amending Chapter 111 alcoholic beverages to provide for an off-sale delivery classification and fee.
Jamie Palmer with licensing, and I don't have any new information. A lot of this information was probably just discussed, so if you have any additional questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Jamie. Folks, any additional dialogue from the audience on this topic? Very good. Council?
Move to approve, Erickson.
Second.
Councilor Erickson, Councilor Vice Chair Erickson's made a motion to approve this second reading, seconded by Councilor Chair Kiley. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selberg?
Yes.
Starr?
Yes.
Staley?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
Neitzer?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Thank you, Council. Item 21.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota by revising boundaries for voting precincts as set forth in Section 38.003 of Chapter 38 Elections.
Jeffrey?
Good evening, Jeffrey Schmidt, representing planning staff on this item and the next item. This is how election precincts are described. Based upon the district and commission that we completed earlier this summer, some of the districts got moved to other precincts, and so the numbering had to be changed. At the same time, a couple of the districts got redone to make them a little bit easier to describe. So this ordinance in Chapter 38 is basically the description of the precincts and the districts on how they're legally described so that people can vote within them.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Folks, again, a second reading. Anybody want to engage the council? Councilors?
Move approval.
Second, Starr.
Councilor Rolfing's made a motion to approve this item, second by Councilor Starr. Thank you. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selberg?
Yes.
Starr?
Yes.
Staley?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
Neitzer?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 22.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the Code of Ordinances for Chapter 156, Floodplain Management.
Thank you. This is a long time coming, I believe. This is for the southwest part of Sioux Falls. Earlier this year, we brought the bigger changes for the floodplain management ordinance forward, and we changed the ordinance to reflect our March 7th date for the entirety of the City of Sioux Falls. This is changing the date to March 7th and October 5th. As of October 5th, the southwest part of Sioux Falls, that map will change. So the maps in the southwest part of Sioux Falls, 57th, 69th Street, west of the Interstate 29, that area is changing. As a public service announcement also, we continue to notify those 350 property owners down there. Approximately 90% of them, we're going to be able to physically remove their homes from the floodplain through staff administratively. We're working with FEMA to remove their homes from the floodplain, even though their properties may be in. So we're going to correct this and address that issue. But again, the maps in the southwest are going to be changing October 5th.
Jeffrey, thank you. Folks, any comments on this topic? Council?
Greg?
Yes, Councilor Neinser, sir.
If I live in the Southwest District and my home is going into the special flood hazard area, I'm going to become. Are there some of those homes that are going to do that? That are going to become in the A zones that weren't before?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say I have a mortgage on my home. Is there some way in which that the mortgage company finds out and then they'll ask me to get flood insurance? Is there some? How does that trigger work, or do these homeowners have to do it themselves?
I'm not in that profession, so I don't know for sure. I generally get the second, third-hand phone call from the property owner saying, I've just been told, but I'm not in the business, okay? So if you have a home that's in a floodplain area, then and you have a federally insured mortgage, you're required to have flood insurance. So that's the answer. How they're notified is different. It generally comes up if you're in an area and you have an insurance agent that notifies you, but it's not the insurance agent that's required to notify you, it's the bank that notifies you. So again, trying to answer your question, but I'm not the bank. It's the compliance officers for those banks' obligations to do it, and when they see the new maps come in, and if your bank's in Sioux Falls, they'll see this information, they'll notify. If your bank's in New York City and they don't know that the maps are changing in Sioux Falls, it may not come up until your mortgage changes. You come into refinance. So a lot of people go, I had no idea this area was changing, and then they get notified 3-4 years later. So it doesn't happen automatically unless that bank's financial compliance officer contacts it.
Sure, that's fair. And does each homeowner get a letter from us or somebody saying, specifically the people that have been added?
Yes. We're probably in between 6 and 10 letters that I've sent these property owners. We're sending out another letter again next week, Albert Schmidt and I, notifying them. I think this is the 3rd letter we're sending them saying we're still working on removing you from the floodplain. So we're close to 10 letters that we've sent these property owners. They get pretty sick of hearing from us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll move approval. Neinser.
Second, Erickson.
There's been a motion to approve this item. Thank you. Also seconded. Councilor Vice Chair Erickson.
Just to address we have 3 homes in floodplains, 2 in Sioux Falls and 1 in Watertown. One's on, water, so it's obvious that it's on a, floodplain. But the 2 in Sioux Falls here are on. We get a letter from FEMA every year saying, pay up because we need to make sure it's insured. And so annually we get letters from FEMA. I don't know if that's related through the bank or not, but it all comes through and it's very easy, and I send them my money and we go on. But it's really everything that we've been receiving is from FEMA. But I'm not new in the floodplain. We've been in it the whole time. So
A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selberg.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Nitzert.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 23.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property located at 1600 West 51st Street from the unzoned and I-1 light industrial districts to the S1 general institutional and I-1 light industrial districts, petition number 6596, 2017, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval 7-0.
Jason Beaver representing Planning and Building Services. This is an application, and the owners of this is the City of Sioux Falls. It's located at 1600 West 51st Street. This is the old Ice and Rec Center. It's roughly 1.5 acres in size. The purpose of this rezoning is we are looking at gifting the 0.99 acres to the Glory House. They are looking at purchasing 0.21 acres. And then the city itself will be retaining 1.22 acres for future development.
Thank you very much, Jason. Comments, Council? Councilor Starr, would you want to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, September 5th for this item?
So moved.
Thank you, sir.
Second, Rolfing.
Seconded by Councilor Rolfing. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selberg.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Nitzert.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 24.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property located at 426 West 7th Street from the RA1 Apartment Residential Low Density District to the RT1 Single Family Residential Traditional District, petition number 6980, 2017, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval 7-0.
The applicant and owner here is Wayne Wagner with Affordable Housing Solutions. It's located at 426 West 7th Street, just west of South Minnesota Avenue on 7th Street. It's roughly 0.09 acres in size. The purpose of this rezoning is the applicant is looking at constructing an affordable house on this existing vacant lot with an attached garage.
Council? Yes, Councilor Lancer, sir.
Were the rezoning fees waived on this item?
Yep, Affordable Housing Solutions within the ordinance is not required to pay fees. So.
Okay. Move to set the second hearing. Nitzert.
Thank you, Councilor.
Second, Erickson.
Thank you, Council Vice Chair Erickson. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selberg.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Nitzert.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 25.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property located at 430 West 7th Street from the RA1 Apartment Residential Low Density District to the RT1 Single Family Residential Traditional District, petition number 6982, 2017, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval 7-0.
The applicant and owner here is also Wayne Wagner with Affordable Housing Solutions. This one is located just to the west of the previous request. It's about the same size, 0.09 acres, and they are looking at doing the exact same thing, constructing a single-family residential home with an attached garage.
Council?
Move approval, Rolfing.
Second, Erpenbach.
Councilor Rolfing has made a motion to set that date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, September 5th, seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selberg.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Nitzert.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 26.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property located at the northwest corner of East 85th Street and South Cliff Avenue from the AG Agriculture District to the C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar District, petition number 6998, 2017, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval 7-0.
The applicant here is Eric Wilson. The owner is Robert Smithback. It's located at the northwest corner of 85th and South Cliff Avenue. It's roughly 9.43 acres in size. The purpose of this specific rezoning is they're looking at constructing a future commercial and office development similar to the one that's under construction to the north of this property.
Thanks, Jason. Councilor Rolfing.
How close is this to proposed Veterans Parkway?
Veterans Parkway, as you can see, kind of Councilmember Rolfing, on the north side of this map, you'll see future Highway 100 or Veterans Parkway. So it's probably about a half mile.
Okay, yeah, it's not on this one, but, okay.
That's right there.
Thank you.
Right there. Tipped the wrong way.
Oh, I see it over here. I get it.
Council?
Move approval.
Thank you, Councilor Rolfe.
Second, Erpenbach.
Thanks, Councilor Buck. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selberg.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Neitzer.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 27.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property located east of South Sycamore Avenue and north of East 41st Street from the RA2 Apartment Residential Moderate Density District to the RD1 Twin Home Duplex Residential Suburban, O Office, and C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar Districts, petition number 7071, 2017, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval, 7-0.
The applicant and owner here is Ronning Companies. This is located on 41st Street, just east of the Casey's on Sycamore Avenue. It's roughly 4.9 acres in size. The purpose of this rezoning is the applicant is looking at constructing a retail strip center just to the east of the Casey's. Excuse me, and then constructing a future office to the east of that. And then they're looking at rezoning north of these two properties for some twin homes that would be similar to the existing twin homes to the north of this property.
Thank you. Council?
Move to approve.
Second, Selberg.
Council Chair Kylie has made a motion to approve this data hearing and second reading for Tuesday, September 5th, seconded by Councilor Selberg. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selberg.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Neitzer.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 28.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property located north of West 41st Street and west of South Ellis Road from the AG Agriculture District to the RS Single Family Residential Suburban District, petition number 7078, 2017, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval, 7-0.
The applicant and owner here is Rick Dunlap. This is located north of West 41st Street and west of the T. Ellis Road. It's roughly 40 acres in size. The purpose of this rezoning is to construct a single-family residential development with roughly 150 lots.
Move to approve, Erickson.
Second.
Thank you, councilors. Appreciate that. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selberg.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Neitzer.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 29.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property located at northeast corner of West Benson Road and North Oklahoma Avenue from the O Office District to the RA1 Apartment Residential Low Density District, petition number 7080, 2017, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval, 7-0.
The applicant here is Jeff Arvra. The owner is Max Wynn. It's located at the northeast corner of Oklahoma and Benson. This is about a quarter mile east of Marion, Oklahoma is. It's roughly 1.7 acres in size. The purpose of this rezoning is the applicant is looking at constructing 3 two-story, 8-unit townhome buildings. They will be required that level A buffer yard along the north property line, which is a 10-foot setback, that 2-foot berm or 4-foot fence, and 20 units of landscaping for every 100 lineal feet to buffer to those existing single-family homes to the north.
Move to approve, Erickson.
Second, Rolfing.
Councilor Erickson's made a motion to approve that data hearing, and seconded by Councilor Rolfing. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selberg.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Neitzer.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 30.
A resolution of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the placement of a sculpture on public property. Hey, Mary Lou, blindside.
Good evening. Russ Sorensen with the City Planning Office, presenting 2 resolution items before you this evening. This is the South Dakota Junior Football League's proposal for a temporary placement of a leased bronze sculpture known as Hey Mary Lou, blindside by sculptors Sherry Treby and Lee Looney, at the Sanford Sports Complex, the youth football fields area. Sculpture depicts two football players, one being tackled by the other. The sculpture measures about 7.5 feet in height, 5 feet in width, and 5 feet 5 inches in length. The associated installation maintenance costs are the responsibility of the South Dakota Junior Football League and not the city. The sculpture would be placed at the west end of the football complex within an existing landscape area surrounded by sidewalks near the existing buildings consisting of a restroom and concessions. This sculpture would serve as a gateway entrance feature to the football area. This Lee sculpture is very similar to the city-owned sculpture known as Hey Mary Lou by the same artist. Recall that city-owned sculpture is currently located at the Denny Sanford Premier Center near the Howard Wood Field. Sioux Falls Junior Football is a nonprofit organization that has been in existence since 1969, 49 years, and they serve over 2,200 youth in our community. The youth football organizations tends to lease this sculpture for temporary placement while they secure funding within the next year to purchase the sculpture and place it permanently at the sports complex. If fundraising is successful, the football association would return to the various city boards and commissions and the city council for further consideration for permanent placement. In this case, the Visual Arts Commission, along with the Parks and Recreation Board, both reviewed and recommended approval of the sculpture placement.
Thank you, Russ. Appreciate it. Did anybody want to speak about this resolution in the audience? Councilors, any questions, comments? Councilor Urbanbach.
Thank you. Russ,
Yes.
just to give folks an idea how they might help with this, how much does a sculpture like that cost, and who might people write the check out to?
This sculpture, as I understand, is close to about $30,000 to $40,000 in bronze, and they could contact Mr. Larry Leverance, the director of the South Dakota Junior Football League.
Thank you. I would move approval.
Second, Erickson.
Thank you, Councilor Bach. Thank you, Councilor Vice Chair Erickson. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Selberg,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Staley,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Urbanbach,
Yes.
Kylie,
Yes.
Neitzert,
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Item 31.
A resolution of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the placement of a sculpture on public property, Trudy Peckham Memorial.
Thank you. Again, Russ Sorensen, City Planning Office. With me this evening is Lori Kiesel, Director of the Mary Jo Wagner Arboretum, and Ann Randall, who's an Arboretum Board member. On behalf of the Trudy Peckham family and friends, their request is for your consideration of a permanent placement of a memorial sculpture at the Arboretum. This would be a bronze sculpture to be known as the Trudy Peckham Memorial and would be gifted to the City of Sioux Falls. This open book sculpture measures about 16 inches by 12 inches and about 3 inches high in size, and it would be attached to a quartzite rock pedestal. On one side of the book, it would read, "I'd rather walk with a friend in the dark than alone in the light," by Helen Keller. On the other side of the open book page would read, "In memory of Trudy Peckham." The book sculpture would be located near the northeast edge of the Arboretum's pond garden. This bronze artwork and associated installation would be done by the local sculptor Darwin Wolf and not the city. The city's art conservator consultant, Rosa Longer and Associates, evaluated the sculpture artwork proposal and location, and they've provided a positive recommendation on any future city gift acceptance. In this case, both the Visual Arts Commission and the Parks and Recreation Board both reviewed and recommends approval of the sculpture and the permanent placement as presented.
Thank you, Russ. Did anybody want to speak to this item? Very good. Councilor Urbanbach.
Just want to say what an awesome idea this is. Trudy Peckham was one of the charter members of the Arboretum Board, and she deserves this and so much more in her memory, so I would move approval.
And having known Trudy for 40 years, I would agree wholeheartedly and second.
Thank you both. Appreciate that. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selberg,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Staley,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Urbanbach,
Yes.
Kylie,
Yes.
Neitzert,
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Russ, thanks for doing this tonight. Appreciate it. Thank you. Item 32.
A resolution advising and giving consent to the appointment of members to certain citizen boards. And if I may, Mr. Mayor, I will read those names and boards.
Thank you very much.
Sonny Holt, Human Relations Commission, as well as Brian Maheras and Melinda Obach. James Zacek, Visual Arts Commission. Craig Markhart, Zoning Board of Adjustment, as well as Billy Polma and Ryan Rintz.
Thank you. Did anybody want to speak to this item? Council Vice Chair Erickson.
I always do it every time. I'm just curious if anyone's here. I know I saw one person here, so if anybody is here on this
Wait,
list.
no, we do right there. Sir, would you just mind introducing yourself, please? And thanks for being here tonight. We appreciate it.
Put you on the spot.
I'm James Zychek, and my name's always mispronounced, and it's no big deal. I'm used to that. For the Visual Arts Commission, I'm very excited, and it's a big honor for me to be nominated for it.
Thanks, James.
Thank you. And there, I know there's one more.
Yes, welcome.
Brian Majerus.
Thank you.
Human Rights.
And Brian wants to serve on the Human Relations Committee. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, and thanks for everyone's that has put in an application for this. We know the pay is extremely high for you, and I'm sure that was your motivation for applying for it. So in all seriousness, thanks for your volunteerism and being a part of these boards. It's very important in our community, and so I will move approval.
Thank you.
Second, Star.
Got a motion to approve these citizens to serve on citizen boards. Thank you, as well as Councilor Starr. Thank you for seconding that. A roll call vote, please.
As I say every year, I apologize to all the names I mispronounce.
Very good.
Councilmember Selberg.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Kiley.
Yes.
Neitzer.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Thank you both for being here tonight. We appreciate it. Item 33.
A resolution approving a joint powers agreement between the South Dakota Office of Attorney General and the Sioux Falls Police Department.
Chief, welcome.
Thank you. Matt Burns, Police Chief. Thank you, councilors. First of all, this item does not cover new ground. It does not change the operations of the police department or our relationship with the Attorney General's office, specifically the Division of Criminal Investigation or the Minnehaha County Sheriff's Department. This is meant just to prescribe and to formalize a process that's already in place and has been for several years, by where we can take members of the task force, be they Sioux Falls police officers or Minnehaha County Sheriff's deputies, and give them a Special Assistant Attorney General designation and have them work under the supervision, if you will, or with a DCI agent on specific drug investigations outside the prescribed boundaries of our jurisdiction, be that the city of Sioux Falls or Minnehaha County.
Chief, thank you. Did anybody want to speak to this item in the audience? Thank you. Councilors?
Move to approve, Erpenbach.
Second.
Councilor Bach, thank you. Councilor Chair Kiley, thank you for the second. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selberg.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Kiley.
Yes.
Neitzer.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 34.
A proposed resolution vacating the North Cockatiel Avenue right-of-way from the south right-of-way line of West Amber Street to 120.50 feet south.
Good evening, Kurt Peppel, Public Works Engineering. The proposed vacation is near the intersection of West 12th Street and North Valley View Road in West Central Sioux Falls. The petition was prepared and submitted by Kelly Nielsen, the owner of the property. The petition was signed by the adjoining property owner pursuant to South Dakota law. The petitioner has complied with the city street vacation policy. A neighborhood meeting is not required for this vacation. If the vacation is approved, an easement will be reserved for public and private utilities. Approval of this vacation will aid in further development of this area. Engineering supports the vacation.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Council, would anybody want to set a hearing date for Tuesday, September 12th for item 34?
So move.
Thank you, Councilor. Chair Kiley.
Second, Selberg.
Thank you, Councilor Selberg. Councilor Rolfing.
How do we, can you put that one, I can get it up on mine here eventually. Second way out for this development.
The Kelly Nielsen, who is the developer, if you look towards which would be the top left, there is a black kind of sketched in road there.
Right.
The construction plans include a secondary access out to La Mesa, which is the next major north-south street.
But the other, these are going to get out, they're going to be on the street right down here. But there doesn't show a street down there on the south end of that.
There's a private street, North Cockatiel Avenue and North Heron Place there's a private street that will be the frontage for east-west.
I'm assuming this is north is up?
Correct.
I've been messed up on that one today once already. So you're saying that red dotted line is a street next to the blue dotted line is a street that's a private street that'll
Correct.
take those people out?
Correct.
Okay, good enough. Thank you. Just wanted to check, make sure.
A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selberg?
Yes.
Starr?
Yes.
Staley?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
Neitzer?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Item 35.
A proposed resolution vacating a portion of the Mall Avenue right-of-way as shown on Exhibit A.
This proposed vacation is near the intersection of 10th and Phillips in downtown Sioux Falls. The petition was prepared and submitted in July by Community Development. Petition was signed by the adjoining owner, which is the City of Sioux Falls. The petitioner has complied with the city's street vacation policy. Neighborhood meeting will not be required. If the vacation is approved, an easement will not be reserved for public and private utilities. Approval of this vacation will aid in the development of this site. And I would also request that the hearing date be set for Tuesday, September 19th in lieu of September 12th. Engineering supports the vacation.
Councilor Staley?
So what happens, this is assuming that we're moving forward with the multi-use parking ramp, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so let's say that doesn't happen. We don't move forward with the parking ramp. Then what happens to the vacation situation?
Darren Ketchum is here to speak on that project specifically, but this item will be brought on the 19th with other items that community development will be asking approval for. So it will be set that the other items have to be approved before the vacation would be approved.
Well, if Mr. Ketchum would come forward, please. So I understand you're supposed to be coming before us the 1st of September with some information?
Councilor, yeah, we'll be coming forward the first meeting in September. With
And what is that going to entail?
we'll bring you the project package with the design and.
Is that going to be a first reading?
No, ma'am, that will not. It'll be an
Informational.
informational.
Okay, and then a first reading is going to happen when?
We'll look for a first reading the following week.
On the 12th?
Yes, ma'am.
And then the vacation will be, so you're going to, then the second reading is going to be?
The 19th. So that way you would be
along with this
approving-
vacation thing?
Yep, this would be part of the package you would consider. This would be to set that hearing for that same time frame. So you consider the entire development at one time.
So we're planning on September 19th, we're going to, at the end of that, it could be a done deal.
Yes, that's when the council will be asked to take the final consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Chair Kelly?
Motion to set a hearing date for Tuesday, September 19th, 2017 at 7 p.m. for item 35.
Second, Rolfing.
It's been a motion to set a hearing date for Tuesday, September 19th for this item, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selberg?
Yes.
Starr?
Yes.
Staley?
Yes.
Erickson? Erpenbach?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
Neitzer?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Item 36.
Report of the August 4th, 2017 Notice of Transfer of Appropriations within Major Organizational Units.
Thank you. Council, any additional comments?
Move to adjourn.
Been a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting, seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Sioux Falls